Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at a new and updated 2026 United States Senate prediction. So in 2026 there should be 35 different Senate seats up for re-election. So two of them are special elections, one in Ohio and one in Florida. They're to replace Senators Marco Rubio and JD Vance, who are going to be in the Trump administration. So, not looking at the toss-up seats, there should be Democrats before the election. They're going to have 34 seats, Republicans 31. So, let's look at the seats up for grabs. I first want to just fill in the ones that are like definitely going to go Republican. Mitch McConnell could run, but it's going to go safe Republican either way. The only way Kentucky could get remotely close if it's like McConnell versus Bashir or something like that. Oklahoma's Republican. Kansas is going to go Republican. Nebraska. Kansas is actually shifting left. But shifting left. But it is a pretty Republican state. The senator who would be up for re-election is is going to be Roger Marshall. The Democratic governor, Laura Kelly, she can't run for governor anymore, so she could run for senator, but she said that she's not going to run. So I feel like Kansas will stay safe Republican in 2026. South Dakota, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana. Montana, this Senate seat isn't Jon Tester like it's Steve Daines. He's gonna win. It could be likely. Montana is shifting to the left by a bit. It was likely in 2020, but I feel like it's gonna stay red no matter what. We'll have Montana be safe Republican though. Sorry, likely Republican. Okay, now let's fill out this not interesting Democratic states. We got Oregon. We got New Mexico. New Mexico, Colorado, they could be likely. Colorado, I'm pretty sure this one is going to be John Hickenlooper. It was likely in 2020, but that was against an incumbent. I'm going to have Colorado be likely Democrat. New Mexico, Ben Ray Lujan. He won it by a lead. I think it's going to go likely, but New Mexico isn't out of the possibility of flipping, but very low chances. Delaware, safe. Massachusetts, Rhode Island. Let's look at New Jersey and New Hampshire real quick. Yeah, New Jersey. Cory Booker. Yeah, he's really popular in New Jersey. That's going to go safe Democrat. New Jersey shifting right. I feel like it's not going to go likely here, though. Actually, no, I will put it in likely because I'm pretty sure it was likely in 2020. New Hampshire, Jeanne Shaheen. She won in 2020, re-elected. She's a pretty popular senator. She's been running there for a while. I feel like it's gonna go likely though. All right, Virginia. That's gonna be Mark Warner. He's more popular than Tim Kaine. Glenn Youngkin. I don't think he's gonna run for governor. I don't think he's gonna run for senator. He potentially definitely could run and possibly win. I feel like if Youngkin runs here, it could either be a major shocking success or flop like Hogan or something. Let's say that Youngkin doesn't run. I'm gonna put it into the likely Democrat. So these are some interesting races we're left with. Actually no, not Illinois. Illinois is likely. Alright, but these are some interesting races that we're left with. Let's start with Florida. I feel like Florida, it's gonna stay safe. But Marco Rubio, he's the incumbent senator here. He was supposed to run in 28, but he's gonna become Secretary of State, and that would mean he would have to retire from the Senate. Matt Gaetz, I think if he's gonna run for something in 2026, he would run for governor. Corey Mills, there's a bunch of other people. It could be Casey DeSantis. It could be, DeSantis' wife. Ron DeSantis isn't gonna run. Laura Trump, she actually could have been a replacement to Marco Rubio, but she moved to North Carolina to primary Thom Tillis. We'll get to that in a bit. But I just feel like no matter who wins a primary, it's going to be likely Republican. Unless it's Gates. Then you might be in a pickle there. But let's hope that we don't nominate Gates. Now let's talk about Ohio, the other special election. So this is J.D. Vance. He was also supposed to run in 2028, but since he's going to become vice president, we're going to have a special election this year. So there's so many different candidates. But once again, I feel like whoever is going to be the candidate, is going to be the ones who Ron DeSantis appoints in Florida and DeWine appoints in Ohio. So who could DeWine appoint? It could be Matt Dolan. It could be Mike Carey. It could be John Husted. It could be Jane Timken. You can look at Polymarket to see those betting odds. It could be any of them. I feel like no matter who it is, unless it's someone like, I don't know, as bad as Matt Gaetz or something, it's gonna stay likely Republican. It might even go safe Republican, depending on how well those senators do. In whoever's gonna be the senator do in the time that they have before the election. All right, now let's talk about Iowa. All right, Iowa is held by Joni Ernst. Like North Carolina, there's going to be Republicans trying to primary her. Iowa though, look, yeah, it's Joni Ernst. She is probably going to run, but the primary, right? Joni Ernst, she already declared her candidacy. It could be a MAGA, because like a lot of MAGAs are complaining that Joni Ernst is a rhino. I agree with that in some cases, but I do actually feel like Joni Ernst might have a better chance at winning. Joni Ernst, if she's a nominee, I feel like it's likely Republican. If it's a MAGA, it could be lean. But for now, I'm going to put it in the likely Republican column. Alright, let's talk about Minnesota. This is actually pretty likely Democrat. I don't know why I included this. Tina Smith, incumbent. She actually, this was a close election. No, not the special one. But yeah, this one. That was, kind of close. She didn't get 50%. No, it wasn't close. It was just that, the legal marijuana now party took away a lot of the Democratic votes. Yeah, I feel like Tina Smith is going to take it by likely. It could go to lean, it could flip. We'll see. Alright, now let's go to, Texas. Texas is held by, John Cornyn, another rhino that Republicans won a primary. He won it by double digits, almost double digits in 2020. We'll have to see if Cornyn wins a primary. I feel like it's either going to be lean or likely. I'm going to have Texas, in this case, be likely because Trump kind of delayed the left shift in Texas this year. I feel like Texas, it's going to be reliably Republican in the Senate race, no matter who the candidate is. Alright, let's talk about Michigan now. This one is held by incumbent Gary Peters. I don't think he's going to retire. It was a pretty close election in 2020. He won it by like 1 point. I believe it was tilt. Yeah, no, he won it by lean against John James. No, not this. Is there no... Okay, yeah, here's a page for 2026. A United States Senate election. What the... Oh, there's not even a page for it. Alright, but I feel like Gary Peters is going to be the Democratic nominee and win Michigan by a lean margin. I'd say around 2 points. Could be 1, I don't know. Republicans have a chance to flip it. It's unlikely. So there's 4 remaining seats here. There's Maine, which is held by Rhino Republican Susan Collins. There's North Carolina, which is held by Rhino Republican Thom Tillis. There's Alaska, which is held by pretty Republican Dan Sullivan. And then there's Georgia, held by moderate Democrat Jon Ossoff. So the best, obviously for Republicans, their only flip here is going to be Georgia. But the Democrats, I feel like their best flip in this scenario is going to be North Carolina. So let me just start off with Alaska. How about? Because they don't have a Rhino Republican. Dan Sullivan, he was reelected in 2020 by likely margins. Al Gross, we don't even have a picture of him. So Alaska, I'd say it's going to go likely Republican. But Mary Peltola, since she lost, if she runs for Senate instead of House, I at this point believe that she's going to run for House. If she runs for Senate, I believe it could go to lean. But likely Republican right now. For Dan Sullivan. Let's talk about Maine now, actually. Maine is held by Rhino Republican Susan Collins. She's going to run. She was reelected in 2020 by, once again, double digits. Almost double digits. And she could be primaried. I doubt Republicans in Maine are going to primary her. Because, Iowa, they can primary. Alaska, they can... Texas, they can primary. North Carolina, they can primary, even though I wouldn't suggest that. That's because these are reliably Republican states. If they primary Susan Collins in Maine, Democrats are going to win if they choose a MAGA candidate. Because it's better to have a Rhino than a straight-up Democrat. And that's when you have to see what is worth it. Is it worth primarying? I feel like if Susan Collins is nominee, and at this point I believe Republicans will likely nominate her, unless they get really, really stupid, Republicans will win this seat by a lean margin. Alright, now let's talk about North Carolina. North Carolina, I feel like Lord Trump is gonna win the nomination. She already resigned from her co-chair position on the RNC. Tom Tillis, he is running. Mark Robinson, he's probably gonna run as well. Lord Trump, I was scared for a bit that Mark Robinson could have been our nominee. But Lord Trump is better than Robinson. I think we all know that. I feel like if we nominate Tillis, we lose a bunch of MAGAs. If we nominate a Trump, we lose a bunch of independents. No matter what it is right now, I feel like North Carolina is a straight up toss up. If I had to choose one, it would be a tilt Democratic margin. Alright, now this is going to be a really exciting one. Jon Ossoff, he's running for a second term. He won his 2021 runoff against David Perdue by tilt margin. Georgia shifted to the left, though. But they also have a really popular retiring Republican governor, Brian Kemp. So, if we nominate Brian Kemp, we could win this. I feel like, look at these other candidates, Burt Jones, Brad Raffensperger, Kelly Loeffler. They don't have that popularity like Kemp. So I feel like Republicans would definitely nominate Kemp in this scenario. He hasn't announced, and he hasn't even suggested his bid yet. But he is probably favored to run. And if he does run, I believe he will win the nomination. But it really depends. Because if Kemp fumbles the suburbs of Atlanta and the rest of Georgia, we are cooked. Because Georgia's suburbs shifted to the left so much in 2024. It's almost guaranteed to go a Democrat in 2028. Unless Democrats nominate someone stupid like Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris. But at this point, it's really just a toss-up in Georgia. I would probably have to give it to Democrats just because it's an incumbent. But a lot of things can change. But Democrats actually even winning the Senate is basically impossible at this point. I mean, even if they get it to 50-50, they would still need the tiebreaker, and that should be J.D. Vance. So they would need to flip, Maine, Alaska, and, Texas or Iowa. And that's not happening. So this is my current 2026 Senate prediction. Probably my last video for a couple weeks. No, at least a week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.